Hello and welcome to the National Driving Centre. My name's Paul McIntyre and I'm one of the instructors for NDC. So in this video we're going to be talking about the DVSA practical reversing exercise. Normally towards the second part of the exercise throughout the test, so we'll have the show me tell me questions, the reversing exercise and then the drive. So first of all, before we go outside and talk about the practical side of this exercise, we're just going to do a little bit of theory inside just to explain what's going on and how this is going to work. So if we come over to the whiteboard now, I'm just going to talk through. So first of all, they're going to show you a picture of this reversing exercise, and I'll put that here, and this is what they're going to show you before the exercise, okay? But we're just going to talk through this reversing exercise in a practical means. So first of all, this square we'll see outside in a little bit and the instructors will talk you through it, but this is a bird's eye view of the reversing exercise. So our vehicle will be in the start position and this will already be here before we start. So this is the start position. So we've got two outer yellow lines, our left line and our right line. With these yellow lines, bodywork can go over the yellow line, but tyres cannot cross, okay? And we'll explain that outside. And then we've got a number of cones. Now, 3 of these cones have sticks in them and the other 4 don't. So as we look at them, and again, we'll see these outside, we've got our lonely B cone, the one on its own, the lonely B cone. And that one's here, and that's got a stick in it. And then we've got our top 2 A cones. We've got the A cone and A1. And these are cones up in the distance. And then we've got our garage cones, okay? So our left-hand garage cone and our right-hand garage cone, and then the 2 cones dictating our bay. So the object of the game that we're going to be doing here is we're going to be driving our vehicle forward. On the right hand side of the B cone, we're going to head up to our A cones and then we're going to stop, handbrake on and relax. Then we're going to put our vehicle into reverse and we're going to bring our vehicle on the left hand side of the lonely B cone and we're going to bring our vehicle into the garage, okay, making sure the most extreme rear of the vehicle enters the yellow box or the black line and making sure that we don't hit the barrier, which we'll show you outside. Okay, so breaking this down into a little bit of stages here just to make life easy for ourselves. If we do it step by step, it's a lot easier. If we think, well, I need to get the vehicle here and put it here, that's a big old task. That's a big old bit of information to take in. So let's break it down into stages and we'll do one stage at a time. As I said, we'll do this outside practically in a sec. So first of all, the start position, which is going to be here. As we drive forward, the examiner's going to say to you, we're going to bring the vehicle in between the 2 cones. No, okay, it doesn't work, it doesn't help. We're going to bring the vehicle up to the 2 cones, but we're going to try and keep our vehicle over to the left-hand side, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So as we drive forward, we want to try and get ourselves nice and close to that B cone. The closer we are, the easier this will be. The mistake people make here is they try and drive forward and try and go round the B cone. So now as you can see, the vehicle would already be upset before we've even got there. We want to try and keep it nice and straight. So what we're trying to do here is get our vehicle nice and close to that B cone, and then it's just a straight line up to our A cones. And then we can stop and put the handbrake on. So we want to go up to the A cones without passing through. When you do this test for real, for your driving test, the examiner's going to be stood outside. There he is, look, with his clipboard. He's going to be stood outside of the vehicle, okay? It'll just be you on your own for this exercise, okay? So as he looks at the vehicle, he wants to be able to see the A1 cone and the B cone. If the vehicle is slightly over to the left and he can't see this, he'll tell you to go back and reapproach, okay? So we're trying to get a little imaginary line here that we don't go past that, okay? So this is our prime location. This will be a lovely place to start. So now we're going to put the vehicle into reverse and we're going to get moving. So once that vehicle goes into reverse, what we don't want to do is what we call dry steering, okay? What dry steering is turning the steering wheel without the wheels rolling. If you think about the weights that could be on that front axle, whether we're category C1, D1, D or C, there can be some heavy weight. So if we're dry steering, we can be ripping up concrete and damaging the ground underneath us or damaging our tyres. So once we've got that vehicle rolling, only then do we start steering. Now with this exercise, you can steer any way you want. It does not have to be a push and pull. We can palm it, cross your arms, anything you want, okay? So as we start to go backwards now, we're then going to steer the vehicle, okay? Now that's the reason we've left this big gap here, okay? Like the examiner said, he said pull up in between the two cones. Well, if we do that and then we make that steer, you can see the vehicle could potentially go over the line right from the start. So what we're going to do is keep it nicely over to the left, and then as we put on the steering, we can then keep that vehicle well away from those lines, okay? As we start to make our way back, lots of right-hand mirrors, making sure we're not crossing that line. Remember, bodywork could go over, but tyres cannot cross. So if you think about the bus going round here, you could think maybe the tyres could be could be close to that line, but the bodywork is well over the line. That's absolutely fine. Okay, same for those extensions on your category C. All right. Once we start to go back there, you'll then see your B cone in your mirror. Fantastic. You're halfway there, and then we'll keep steering until we can see two cones with sticks in our right mirror, one stick in our left mirror. This is a golden rule. This is a real helpful guide, this. As long as you can see two in the right, one in the left, you're not going to hit anything. But imagine that vehicle looked like that. In your right mirror, you could see that cone. In your left mirror, you could see that cone. But you can't see that cone. So therefore, you're going to hit it. So as long as we can see two cones with sticks in our right, one cone in our left, you know you're just heading straight back into that bay. So you know you're going to do it well, okay? As we then start to head back into our bay, once that vehicle gets close to the bay, we're then going to need to make that second turn to get ourselves nice and straight. So a little bit of a turn to then bring ourselves into that bay. Okay, then we're going to be looking for our marker. So once that vehicle is straight, we're looking for our marker, and we'll show you that when you arrive on course, okay? Taking it nice and slow. For this exercise, we want to be nice and slow. So you want to be nice and steady. There's no time limit on this exercise. Nice and slow, nice and steady. As we said, you can steer any way you want. We don't have to wear our seatbelt because obviously, you know, we want to be using lots of room here, okay? So as we're going backwards, what if it all goes wrong? What if suddenly we get a little bit close to a cone or a little bit close to the line? Well, in that scenario, we can pull forward. We can do that twice throughout the exercise. The examiner will call it a shunt, and we can take two shunts. So let's imagine we are heading back into our bay, and suddenly we just get a little bit close to one of the cones. What we can do is stop, put the vehicle into first gear. We could then pull forward, get ourselves lovely in a straight line, and then it's just a straight line back into the bay, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But you've got your two shunts, but the primary thing here is stop before you hit the cone or before you cross the line, okay? This is why observation throughout this maneuver is so critical. Take your time and keep working those mirrors. Remember, both mirrors at all times. Don't get hypnotized by the one mirror. So now we've gone through that theory side of things, let's go outside and actually do this in a practical means. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to our NDC instructor, and let's go outside and do this practically.
Hi, I'm Paul, number 2. I'm your instructor who's going to be teaching you how to do the practical side of your Category C reversing exercise. Now my colleague has been explaining to you the theory side, showing you his diagrams about how to do this very simple exercise. What you'll see here is our lorry is already parked in the position to start the exercise, and if we look forward here now, we've got cone B that was explained in the classroom. We line up with cone B all the way up to those two cones there. Now that's where we have to drive up to the cones, okay? Once we've done that, we're going to reverse the vehicle back. We must not cross this line. That was explained in the classroom there, yeah? Over here, as we come back, we're trying to get the vehicle past this cone into what we call the garage or the bay. Now we must not cross that line either. Once we come back into the garage here, we have to get the vehicle past the black line in that yellow box here with the chevrons on it, okay? We must not hit the barrier either, okay? So let's get cracking and do this, shall we? So the examiner has shown you his picture, his diagram, and he's gone waddling off up there, and he's going to wave you up after making sure you understand what's required. So I'm all nervous now. I'm going to have to drive up there. So I get it in with the drive, I'm looking around and I handbrake off and I move away. Now, there's no time limit on this reversing exercise, okay? You can do it nice and slowly. The key point that was made in the classroom was to try to stay close to the left-hand side to give myself more room to swing it round. So I'm going to swing it over a little bit down, just a very gentle veer it is, that's all I'm doing, so that I can line up between the two cones here. I mustn't go past the cones. Now I'm looking quite good there. I like the look of that. I'm going to stop about here. There we go. So I apply my handbrake. The examiner's quite happy. He's walking around there now, allowing you to carry on with your reversing exercise. So I select my reverse gear, checking around, and remember, no dry steering, so the vehicle starts to move a little bit. There it goes. But now I'm going to lock my wheel to the left, okay? I'm getting close to the line, I'm looking in the mirror, I can see that I'm not touching the line now, I'm alongside it. And the key points were, make sure cone B comes into view. I can still see the garage in the distance there. Here we go, where's cone B? Come on cone B. There's cone B, I've got that in my mirror, so I'm quite happy. Now, there are people who will tell you need to do 1 turn, 2 turns or whatever, yeah? You do what's necessary to get the vehicle in. You do have to use some of your own ability. But one of the key things, make sure you can always see the cones. Now I'll just stop here for a moment. I know I can see cone B, first cone of the garage, and I can see the cone on the far side of the garage. So at the moment, I can't knock them over. So I'm going to keep creeping back. Now, I'm getting closer and closer to the garage. The back of the vehicle is going through the actual cones now, at the very rear. I'm now going to start following this side round with a nice big steer on this cone. Keep it quite tight to this cone. That gives you a bit more space on the left. Now as it comes round, all I'm going to do is line up with the cones. There we go. Now I've got my wheels straight, I'm just creeping back. I'm going to now be using my marker, which will be explained to you when we do the reverse. There we go. I'm going to line the marker up in the correct position. There we go, just getting it to where it needs to be. There we go, a nice stop. Now I'm quite happy with that, so I apply my handbrake and I put it in neutral. Now, as we've said before, you must get out and check this, okay? Don't assume you've done it, because you are allowed to get out, just the once though, yeah? So I'm going to exit the vehicle now and check I'm in the correct position. So I'll turn it off. So, exiting the vehicle, making sure you still use your 3 points of contact, never jump out. Close my vehicle door. So, I'm going to be checking now that I'm in the correct position. As we've explained before, the rear of the vehicle must be past this black line, and as we can already see here, it is well past the black line, okay? Hasn't hit the barrier either. So you could say that's perfect, if I say so myself.
So thanks very much for watching. We hope this video has been helpful. We've just run through a couple of hints and tips there to help you get into the bay. So just to recap, hints and tips please, Andy.
Make sure you always get out and check when you're in that bay. Make sure the back of the vehicle is in the bay properly.
Remember, you are allowed 2 shunts. Don't be frightened to use them.
When we're doing this reverse, we always say about keeping an eye on the cones. If you can't see the cones, they're behind you, you're going to hit them.
So thanks very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please hit that subscribe button, and good luck and stay safe.